everyone, and welcome to the top 10 most famous video game horses. This list comprises 10 of the most stunning video game steeds ever to capture the hearts and minds of gamers. Ranked by their overall popularity, and maybe just slightly by my own personal preference, feel free to let me know if you think I missed any. Alright, here we go. At number 10, we have Starshine from Star Stable Online. Star Stable Online has been available to play worldwide since June of 2012. It's listed as a massively multiplayer online role-playing game, or MMORPG for short. However, this is widely debated as you can't play as any other gender besides a girl, which sort of negates the roleplay element. As you can probably guess, this game is designed specifically for horse enthusiasts. Full of adventure, and most importantly, horses, you can own a stable, go on quests, race, explore, and have lots of fun. When you reach an area of the game known as Harvest Counties though, a mysterious blue and white horse can be found roaming Greendale. If the player is at a certain level, the horse tells us how he's been separated from his owner, Lisa, and obviously we want to help him find her. Starshine was the only star horse breed in the game, one of the many fictional breeds that appear alongside real ones. That was until his character model was updated and he became a Jorvik wild horse, and Star breed became something different entirely. Anyway, Starshine likes Star cookies and remains a firm fan favourite from Star Stable Online. While SSO is a game for horsey people, none outshine the countless horses quite like Starshine. Moving on. At number 9 is Ruin from Darksiders. As a much, darker game than the previous entry, Darksiders is a hack-and-slash action-adventure game first released in 2010, based on the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. The player assumes the role of the horseman known as War, the other three horsemen in the game being Death, Strife, and Fury. And wouldn't you know it, War has become separated from his mighty steed too, and it's up to us to help track him down. When you do, you're in for a mighty treat, because when Fury makes his entrance being ridden by a demon, it's incredible. Fury has a magnificent black coat and flames coming from his mane and hooves. In terms of his overall build, he looks similar to a Clydesdale or an Ardennes, except that he has fiery red eyes. Ironically, the way in which the player, as War, must win back Fury's trust after defeating the demon is pretty realistic. The bond between owner and horse can be broken after a time apart, and it therefore takes a bit of time and effort to rebuild that connection. The way in which War summons Fury, however, is not so realistic, but it's still amazing to see Fury explode up out of the ground. Taking 8th place on this list is D-Horse from Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Appearing in the stealth action title from 2015 as a buddy to the main character Snake, we find out that D-Horse is an Andalusian, owned by the PMC Diamond Dogs, and he was first ridden by Ocelot to rescue Venom Snake back in 1984. Thankfully, D-Horse and his rider survived a treacherous fall from a collapsing bridge after it was struck by lightning. Then, D-Horse returns to aid Snake in later missions, such as helping him through the Khyber Pass into Afghanistan. The great thing about D-Horse is that he is reliable and can cover long distances in a very short amount of time, which is perfect for stealth action missions. He is also very obedient. The more you ride him, the more obedient he gets. Your bond level increases by 1% for every 36 seconds of riding time. In-game, if your bond is high enough, you can instruct D-Horse to either stay back and away from the action, you can whistle for him to come to your aid, or you can instruct him to do it, meaning he'll leave a little surprise on the road that'll cause any light vehicles to skid should they run over it. Thanks for the assist, D-Horse. 7th place goes to Shimmer from The Last of Us 2. When the long-awaited sequel to The Last of Us, a brilliant action-adventure game developed by Naughty Dog, came out in 2020, it's fair to say that it caused a lot of controversy due to its storyline and characters. One thing most people agreed on, however, was that Ellie's horse, Shimmer, was a wonderfully loyal companion. As the player in a harsh in-game world where friendship and trust are hard to come by, Shimmer is a constant bright spark who helps you through snowstorms and to avoid infectious enemies. The bond between player and horse is heightened when you spend a lot of time exploring areas with just the two of you. That is, until, let's just say you might not want to get too attached to Shimmer, or anyone else in The Last of Us Part 2, but that's a lot easier said than done. Just outside of the top 5, taking 6th place, is Roach from The Witcher 3. Another beautiful game with sprawling landscapes where you can spend hours just exploring. Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt is a fantasy action RPG where the protagonist, Geralt of Rivia, would have a hard time getting around if it wasn't for his dependable horse, Roach. Roach is actually a mare in the Witcher books and games, although somewhat confusingly, she is given a male voice in one of the quests in The Wild Hunt.
Gotta say, I expected a young mare to sound girlish.
Based on what? Your vast experience with talking animals? As far as I know, I'm your first.
Regardless, Roach is a gorgeous bay-coloured horse with brown eyes. In an in-game journal entry that appears in Blood and Wine expansion, the author writes, "A horse is more to a Witcher than merely a means of locomotion. Just ask any bandit who has taken a well-aimed hoof to the head during combat." That's right, Roach has always got your back. Speaking of horses you can call on in a fight, cantering into 5th place is Rapidash from the Pokemon games. I'm pretty sure I don't need to explain Pokemon, as people have been battling the Pocket Monsters in video games since 1996. There are currently over 900 Pokemon in the franchise, and among them are the horse types, such as Mudsdale, Blitzel, and Keldeo. But for me, and many others it seems, no horse can surpass Rapidash in terms of coolness, which is ironic because that's a fire-type Pokemon. With its cream-coloured body, red eyes, and a long horn on its head like a unicorn, its mane and tail are made up of red and yellow flames, while smaller embers trail from its fetlocks. There is a psychic/fairy form of Rapidash called Galarian Rapidash, which has a purple and blue mane and tail rather than flames, but again, nothing beats the original in terms of style and popularity. It can be pretty fierce in battles too. The 4th most famous video game horse goes to Shadowmere from Skyrim. This horse actually first appeared in The Elder Scrolls IV as a mount for an ally, Lucien Lachance. However, Shadowmere later became a riding option for the player in Skyrim, Bethesda's much-loved action-adventure fantasy RPG from 2011. The Dragonborn is rewarded with Shadowmere after completing the in-game quest, The Cure for Madness. This is also a win for the player because Shadowmere has much more health than a regular horse and also regenerates its health much faster when injured. Shadowmere can also actively attack and defeat enemies who are nearby or serve as a distraction during combat. Interestingly, this horse is another instance where gender is not confirmed. Astrid refers to Shadowmere as he, whereas Lachance uses the pronoun she. Either way, he or she has a gorgeous silhouette-like coat, glowing red eyes, plus they never leave you completely, because even if they do die, they respawn 10 days later in that exact same location. In 3rd place is Epona, the favoured mount of Link in Legend of Zelda. Having appeared in Zelda titles from 1998's Ocarina of Time to 2017's Breath of the Wild, Epona is a kind of unsung hero in the Legend of Zelda games, though that doesn't mean she isn't popular. Her first appearance was as a wild, untamed foal when she ran away from Link when he approached her. However, after learning Epona's song, the two eventually form a special bond and Link is able to win her over. 7 years later, when Epona has become a mare, Link wins ownership of Epona in a race against Ingo, and a long-lasting friendship full of quests and adventures begins. A carrot system and mounted archery are some of the game mechanics that make playing with Epona a fun experience. Now, according to GameLuster.com, of all video game horses, Epona would be the favourite to win the Kentucky Derby because of her terrific strength, speed, and stamina. 2nd place goes to Buell from Red Dead Redemption 2. When this game came out in 2018, everyone was blown away by its attention to detail, me included. I've already covered the insane amount of detail surrounding horses in Red Dead on my channel, and the added realism definitely goes a long way towards making horsing around more enjoyable and memorable for everyone. Out of the many horses to fall in love with though, I have to go with Buell, the legendary gold-coloured Dutch warmblood owned by Hamish Sinclair. When Hamish is mortally wounded in the game, he tells the player to take care of Buell. However, Buell isn't exactly the easiest to tame, which we learn earlier when he bucks Hamish off, and we're told that this is a frequent occurrence. If you do manage to tame him though, not only do you get honour for fulfilling Hamish's dying wish, you get arguably the best horse in the game in terms of looks and performance. Buell is much braver than other horses, meaning he's better for hunting dangerous game and won't buck you off in the presence of predators, so long as you've bonded with him enough. Just be warned, Buell is one of a kind, so if you lose him or he dies, you can't get him back. And the most famous video game horse is Agro from Shadow of the Colossus. Despite the fact that the original Shadow of the Colossus game released way back in 2005, it was re-released in 2018, people are still obsessed with Aggro, who is undoubtedly the most popular horse to appear in video games ever. Why? Because this mare is everything a horse should be: loyal, faithful, and reliable. Aggro may not be the easiest to handle, but she stays with the player as they wander the land, attempting to slay the colossal beings that any normal horse would run a mile from. In fact, Aggro even helps to defeat the Colossi by chasing after them and dodging their attacks. This lean, muscular horse with a beautiful black coat has a huge role to play, and the bond you build with her over the course of the game is like no other, which only makes it more heartbreaking when certain events happen. You might want to look away now. Thankfully, Aggro reappears at the end of the game during the credits, a little injured, but to the relief of gamers everywhere, alive. Many say Aggro saved the player from this fall, and people are still haunted by that scene to this day. And there you have it! Remember to let me know which video game horse is your personal favourite, and if there are any others you would have added to this lineup. I hope you guys enjoyed, stay positive, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!